All right, let's talk about soccer. Or, football. It's the same game, same ball, same basic rules. But when you really look at how it's played and structured in America versus Europe, well, you're looking at two totally different universes, built on completely different ideas of what a sports league should be.
So what's the real difference here? I mean, it goes so much deeper than just the accents or what time the games are on. We're going to dive into the business models, the style you see on the pitch, and of course, the culture in the stands that makes these two soccer worlds so incredibly unique.
You know, almost every single difference we're going to talk about can be traced back to one thing, one fundamental choice about how to build a league. It's like the source code, the blueprint that shapes absolutely everything else. Which leads us perfectly into our first section, the rules of the game. And no, we're not talking about offsides or handballs here. We're talking about the business rules, the organizational DNA that decides how teams compete and even how they survive.
Okay, so on one hand, you've got the American model, Major League Soccer. It's a closed league. Think of it like a startup ecosystem. You have a fixed number of franchises, and the whole system is designed for stability and parity to make sure every team has a shot. Then you have Europe. It's this open pyramid, a legacy kingdom built on a century of history where the rewards are immense, but so are the risks.
And the engine that powers that whole kingdom is one concept: promotion and relegation. It is a simple but absolutely brutal idea. If your team finishes at the bottom of the league, you get kicked out. You are literally relegated to a lower division. At the same time, the best teams from that lower league get promoted up to take your place. The drama is just off the charts.
Now, in the American model, that danger just isn't there. And the big plus is financial stability for the owners. You've got salary caps to keep one team from just buying a championship, which in theory creates a level playing field. And, of course, the playoff system gives you that guaranteed end-of-season excitement. The downside, though, for a team stuck at the bottom, those last few games of the season, they just don't have that same life-or-death feeling.
Compare that to Europe. The pros are huge. Every single match has high stakes. The history and prestige are incredibly deep, and you have this beautiful romantic idea that any tiny club could, theoretically, climb the ladder all the way to the top. But the cons are just as big. It's a financial battlefield, the money gap is enormous, and smaller clubs are in constant danger of going bankrupt. Just try to hang on.
And when we say the financial gap is big, we mean it's a canyon. In Europe, the wealth is just incredibly concentrated at the very top. You've got a handful of these super clubs that are basically operating on a different financial planet than everyone else. It creates this permanent class system right inside the leagues.
So we've got the business models down. But how does all that backroom stuff, the money and the rules, actually change what happens on the field? Well, that brings us to our next section, style on the pitch.
It's a really interesting question, right? How does a closed system versus an open one affect the actual soccer being played? I mean, does that constant threat of relegation make teams play more cautiously? Does the American focus on a single championship playoff encourage a more athletic, high-octane style? The answer, as you'll see, is a big yes. You see, in American soccer, which has grown up alongside other major U.S. sports, there's often a huge emphasis on pure athleticism, speed, and power. Players have traditionally come up through the college system, but in Europe, it's all about developing tactical genius and technical skill from a really young age in these intense club youth academies. And that leads to this incredible diversity of styles across the continent, from the possession-based tiki-taki in Spain to the legendary defensive grit of Italy.
And all of this brings us to what might be the most important part of the game, the fans. Let's talk about the culture in the stands, because the experience of being a supporter is wildly different in these two worlds.
In America, the fan culture is absolutely exploding. It's passionate, it's getting louder, and these amazing supporter groups are bringing that vibrant, electric atmosphere to stadiums. But let's be honest, soccer is still competing for the spotlight with giants like the NFL and the NBA. In Europe, it's not a competition. Football is the main event. It dominates everything. It's woven into the identity of a city, fueling these historic rivalries that go back generations.
There's this saying that I think just nails the difference perfectly. In America, you pick a team. In Europe, a team picks you.
In the US, you might become a fan because you moved to a new city or you just really like a star player. It's a choice. In Europe, it's more often an inheritance. Your family, your neighborhood, your entire town, that team is part of who you are. It's in your blood.
So where is all this going? These two distinct worlds have been on parallel tracks for a long time, but now they're starting to get a whole lot closer. And that leads us to our final section, the future of football.
I mean, there is just no debating this. Soccer in the United States isn't a niche sport anymore, not by a long shot. The investment is pouring in, the stadiums are packed, and the quality of play gets better and better every single year. The growth curve is steep, and it's pointing straight up.
And you can see these key moments that just acted like rocket fuel. You had the launch of the league in '96. Then in 2007, the Beckham rule, which opened the door for global superstars. And then in 2023, the arrival of Lionel Messi, which was just an absolute earthquake for the sport in America. And with the World Cup coming to North America in 2026, that momentum is only going to build.
Meanwhile, over in Europe, they're facing a totally different set of questions about their future. They're globalizing, trying to win over fans in new markets like the US. They're trying, with mixed results, to regulate the insane spending with so-called financial fair play rules. And they're dealing with these huge, disruptive ideas like the controversial Super League, a concept that threatens to blow up that historic pyramid we just talked about.
So that leaves us with this one final massive question. You have European clubs touring America every summer. You have MLS attracting the biggest names in the world. Fans on both sides of the Atlantic are watching each other's games more than ever. So as these two soccer worlds draw closer and closer, are they going to collaborate and learn from each other? Are they going to compete for talent, for eyeballs, for dollars? Or are they on an inevitable collision course for the soul of the world's most popular sport? That's the big question. Thanks for watching.